Howdy there. I was going to record last night. The sun was going down. It was this beautiful, ooh, creepy sounds. The sun was going down, twilight. It was creepier, night. And I sat down, I started to record, and the light on the camera went off. And I discovered that the battery was almost dead. It recorded, I don't know, a minute. And so I was just like, oh, shoot, now I got to go charge the battery. And it's like, okay, it's been a half hour or something like that. That's going to be good enough. And I brought it back out here and turned it on, looked through the viewfinder, and you couldn't see anything. So I am redoing it in the morning. And that's not scary. I mean, it's scary to me. Morning is terrifying. But speaking of terrifying, welcome to another episode of, what's it called? Tales of eBay Horror. I'm Rish Outfield, and let's talk a tiny bit about feedback. When you sell on eBay, you build up feedback. When you buy on eBay, you build up feedback. People can give you positive or negative, and it shows your score on your account. Everybody can see what your score is and what your percentage is. I guess that's the more important thing. I mean, and there are sellers with hundreds of thousands of feedbacks, and nobody cares. All they care about is whether you're 100% or not. And when I first got started buying on eBay, I wasn't cognizant of how important this is to some people. There's a very OCD aspect to some people where it has to be 100. And if it's not, it drives them crazy. And yeah, I have a little bit of that, in that, just one negative feedback brings down your percentage. And every time I log in, every time I go on, I see that, and I think of that person that gave me the negative feedback. And I had an experience when I first started that was negative. And it's actually a true story of eBay horror. There was a guy, and he was a tool, and that's going to happen inevitably. When you deal with other people, you will find people that are good, and you will find people that aren't. And I gave this guy negative feedback, and I started getting emails from him of, hey, you can't do that. I gave you positive feedback. You can't give me negative feedback. That's not how it works. Email after email, and I don't even remember at this point why I gave him negative feedback, but there are people that will send you email after email after email. I hate those people. That's possibly why I gave him negative feedback, is he just sent all these pestery emails. Oh. And after the third or fourth one, I didn't respond. I wouldn't even read them. But one day I came home, and there was a message on the answering machine. And it was from this customer. He said, hey, I've sent you these emails and you don't respond. You don't have the decency to respond. And so I asked eBay for your telephone number, and I'm calling for you to retract your negative feedback. It was not cool the way you did that. I gave you positive feedback, and you can't give me negative feedback. Fix this. Beep. And then there was another message from the same guy. This is user so-and-so. And after that, there was another message from the guy. And I think the third or fourth message mentioned, I have your telephone number and I have your address. I know where you live. I retracted my negative feedback. And I'm not proud of it. But if this guy did this to me, there are worse examples out there, and there are extreme examples of, I know where you live, that didn't end like that. You and I both know that. When you're giving strangers people's telephone numbers and addresses, eBay now changed their policy. The policy now is you get an email that says somebody requested your contact information. And in return, here is their contact information. That's better, certainly, than just, oh, hey, here's this guy's address and telephone number. And there's a knife shop in the neighborhood. But it's still just, yeah, okay, there's a crazy person that requested your cell phone number. But, here's his cell phone number in case you want to, I don't know, make it easier to be murdered. I don't know. I don't have a moral to the story, really. I mean, the voicemail thing, the threatening voicemail, was the worst example of that I ever had. It boggled my mind. I told everybody about it. It's like, can you believe this? And nobody was sympathetic in the way that I wanted them to be. Because what I wanted, show a poster of "He Knows You're Alone" here, was somebody to come up with a horror film scenario where it's like, okay, there's a pretty girl. She has boobies. And now there's a stranger that has her address. Do you not see the problem with this? I don't know. Maybe I'm not seeing the big picture. But I caved. I retracted my negative feedback from this guy. And the only option that I had was to block him, to make it so this guy could never bid on any of my items again. And, that's the thing. I don't recommend that you sell on eBay because it's a fount for horror stories. But keep a list of blocked buyers that you never want to deal with again, and then just put them out of your head. You never have to worry about this guy bidding again. All that reminds me of another story, to be continued, right? These don't work during the day. I'm going to say from now on we'll do them at night. And this has been Rish Outfield with another tale of eBay horror.